This United Rentals 300 Betting Picks edition of the NASCAR Gambling Podcast here on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network is brought to you by Underdog Fantasy. Play Underdog's Pick'em for a chance to win 100x. Promo code SGPN at UnderdogFantasy.com for a 100% deposit match. We're also brought to you by Hall of Fame Bets, the sports betting research platform for parlays, player props, and game lines. Download the Hall of Fame Bets app or visit HOFBets.com. Use code SGPN to get 50% off of your first month and start making smarter bets today. We're also brought to you by us. We are giving away a $100 cash prize and a $100 SGPN merch gift card to pick the winner of the Daytona 500. If you want in, go to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/Daytona.
Driver, start your engine!
Strap in and pull those belts up tight as the Sports Gambling Podcast Network presents the NASCAR Gambling Podcast.
I'll wreck my mom to win a championship. I'll wreck your mom to win a championship.
With all the news and the best bets for your NASCAR weekend.
It refrains me from not beating the out of you right now because you asked me stupid questions. But since I'm on probation, I suppose that's improper to say as well. If you could talk about racing things, we could talk about racing things.
Now, here are your hosts, Rod Villagomez and Cody Zeeb.
And of course, we are here to talk racing things. It is the NASCAR Gambling Podcast here on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network. He's Cody Zeeb. I'm Rod Villagomez. Today, since we live in a world where, time still exists, but obviously you can watch this whenever, listen to this whenever, but time still exists. Today is Wednesday. Today is dual day, baby. We have cars on the track at Daytona. Qualifying. Whatever. Look, if you're listening to this tomorrow, it's
we already had this conversation.
I know. Well, and I got all excited and I got ahead of myself and I was expecting it to be dual day. Qualifying day. If you're listening to this on Thursday, it's dual day, baby.
There you go. Yes. If you listen to this on Friday, it's truck day. We got qualifying tonight, cars on the track, single car qualifying for Daytona. It's, pretty just boring in a general sense, but it's not because it's single car qualifying at Daytona, which is always awesome. Will in the comments already checking in. Can anyone stop Austin Hill from winning? That is the question.
We'll talk about that for sure.
The answer is yes. But we'll give you the answer later. I meant. So stay tuned.
Yeah, listen, and for the most part, this is obviously an exciting weekend for us because this is the beginning of actual racing, and now we get to pick Xfinity, our winners for Xfinity. So thank you to the books. I'm in an appreciative mood today. I'm feeling good. I'm feeling
Valentine's
happy.
Day. Rod's got all the love in the air.
It's Valentine's Day. Yes, you're right. I have all the love in the air. I have love for you guys, and I'm just very appreciative. So thank you, books, for giving us Xfinity odds. Thank you for giving us truck odds and plenty of time to make our picks for the shows this week. But yeah, so excited to get started on this Xfinity. There are some names, Cody, on this list of entries that I'm not going to say that they don't belong there, but I'm surprised at a couple of the names that are on this list. So let's talk about that entry list there for a second. As far as the Xfinity, obviously we know that that folks can be on this, right? You get 5 races. If you're a Cup Series driver, you can dip down for 5 races and do some partnership stuff. But
asterisk on that, because there is certain guys like John Hunter Nemechek that have not run 3 full seasons. They are allowed to run more because I think John Hunter's running 19 races, I think is what the official schedule is. So guys like that can run more than 5, still can't run the playoffs, stuff like that. Yeah, anyways. Yeah. On the entry list, we have 44 cars trying to enter this race, only 38 spots available. Let's see. Let's just go through the list here and look at some notable guys. Anthony Alfredo is moving over to our Motorsports. He's going to be in the 5 car. Kind of your regular guys. The number 10 car is going to be Colleague. It's an extra Colleague car. Daniel Dye is going to be in that one. The Joe Gibbs 19 car is going to be Ryan Truex this week. So Joe Gibbs back to 4 cars, which they've had previously. 2 will be full-time, Sheldon Creed, Chandler Smith, of course. Then they'll have 2, rotor cars. Basically an all-star car that's going to be Eric Almirola, John Hunter Nemechek, and then a pay-to-play car, which is going to be this week, Ryan Truex. John Hunter is in the 20 car for them as well. Sage Karam is going to be in the 26 for Jordan Anderson. For Sam Hunt. I got ahead of myself. Jordan Anderson is going to be racing for himself in the 32 car. And Larry Mack back on the pit box, of course, legendary crew chief. Worked with some guy named Dale Earnhardt. I think they did okay together. But yes, he is going to be on the pit box with Jordan Anderson there. Frankie Muniz, you might know him as Malcolm in the Middle. He's going to be driving the 35 car. Natalie Decker's in the 36. Let's see. Daniel Suarez is in the 14 car. That's going to be an SS Greenlight entry prepared by Colleague. So if you want to bet on Daniel Suarez in this race, keep in mind he's in a Colleague car. We know AJ is good here. We know Colleague cars that, Josh Williams should be pretty decent on super speedways. Colleague cars have been very good on super speedways in the past. So something to keep in mind there. Stanton Barrett making an appearance in the 74 car. That's like a childhood name. He's been in racing in NASCAR since like the 2000. Like he's been around that long. Not really been around the whole time, but in and out here and there. I think that covers all the kind of notable names as far as things go. There is a note from Bob Pockris, of course. Unfortunately, the little bit of dirty R word in the forecast. We'll see. Hopefully that's not the case. But if qualifying is rained out, then there obviously would be teams that will not make it. It would be the 10 car, which is Daniel Dye. So they use this off owners' points. Those owner points got transferred, so the 10 car doesn't have owner points basically. So he would be out. The 36 would be out, which is, I should put this all on the same sheet, but that's Natalie Decker. The 45 of Cesar Baccarello would be out. The 53 car, which is not on this list because I'm looking at the wrong list.
Joey Gase,
there you go. David Starr in the 66 would also be out. And the 74, which is...
74 is Stanton Barrett.
So those would be the drivers that are out. Of course, 6 drivers will not make the race. So keep an eye on that. And again, to be noted, as we get into the bets here, we might be giving some bets on some of those drivers who don't make the race. So again, check with your book. Maybe wait to bet on them if you want to until after you know for sure they're in the race. Again, it seems weird to bet on someone who might not even make the race because they're slow. But once you get into the race, once you're in the draft, that doesn't the pace of your car by itself means absolutely nothing, zero, nada, and you can win those races even if you're a car that is on the bubble. So, but to be noted at least. So make sure you check all the rules and whatnot, and be aware of that. If you're betting on someone, which we're going to be betting on some guys that might not make the race.
Stanton Barrett's like when they rolled Undertaker out for WrestleManias, and that was about it. They're like, all right, here you go, buddy.
I got to go back and see. When is the first race that Stanton Barrett? I'm going to find that out, and I'll get back to you on that because he's been around for a long-ass time.
I've got 1999, 1992 in the Xfinity Series.
1990. Okay, the year I was born, he started racing in Xfinity. So, 206 races over 26 years. Yeah. Oh my goodness.
That's insane.
That is, So again, a guy who's been around a while, 51, but hey, still out there doing it. So got to give him props for that.
Indeed. All right. Well, we're going to give a lot of other drivers props. So let's start doing our picks. But as we always do, let's step away for a second and tell you about our Daytona 500 contest. Rev up those engines. NASCAR is back. Check out the NASCAR Gambling Podcast with me and Cody. Got you covered for all things NASCAR, but you already know that. From trucks to Cup to IndyCar to F1. Listen, I got to read all that stuff. You know exactly what you're getting when you listen to us. So enter our free Daytona 500 contest for a chance to win $100 SGPN gift card and $100 cash. Again, all you got to do, follow or subscribe to us on YouTube. Subscribe. I don't know. Do the thing that makes it to where you know that we're doing stuff on YouTube. Take a screenshot, head over to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/Daytona and enter the contest, pick the winner. As Cody always says, anybody can win this race, so you can pick anybody. Doesn't really matter. We'll figure it out from there. But make sure you get into that contest. That's sportsgamblingpodcast.com/Daytona. Underdog Fantasy has a way to play alongside and, of course, as you know, drive alongside your favorite fantasy players all season long. NBA, NHL, college basketball, NASCAR, F1, Indy. Simply pick higher or lower or better or worse on your favorite players' fantasy stats and cash in. You can win 100x with some spicy plays. You want plenty of plays for the Daytona 500? Go back to yesterday. You can listen to all of our favorite Underdog Fantasy plays for the Daytona 500. We gave all of our picks, all of our favorite spicy plays. So make sure you head over there to that episode, watch along, make picks, maybe make a little cash over on Underdog's mobile app or website, underdogfantasy.com. And when you sign up with the promo code RACESGPN, Underdog's going to double your first deposit up to $100. That's Underdog Fantasy promo code RACESGPN. But don't do it just for yourself. Do it for us too. We are in a very heated battle with the rest of the shows on the network for people to sign up with the codes, with the promo codes. And if our promo code ends up getting the most, there's a nice little bonus. And there could even be a nice little bonus for you as well. We'll be giving out some swag if we actually cash that bonus. So go do it. Sign up. Use the promo code RACESGPN and enjoy Underdog Fantasy. Selfish. That's selfish me.
I did forget. There is one other piece of news that I wanted to touch on. JJ Yaley will officially be in the 44 car. Does JJ Yaley, like you hear the old school stories of like these race car drivers would just like show up at the track with a helmet and be ready to go and like begging people to get in their car. Like, is JJ Yaley just always, he's at every race, whether he's going to be racing or not. And like, if you can't have a driver or you don't have a driver or you lose your driver, you just call JJ Yaley and he jumps in the car. I think that might be the case, but he is officially going to be in the 44 entry. Again, I think that one has probably the least chance of actually making the Daytona 500, but saw that last year with Connor Daly, right? Some other people had trouble in the dual races, and he ended up making the race. So if a guy like that gets in, he's been around. Let's talk about guys who've been around a long time. Jesus Christ. JJ Yaley, he's been around. I think he raced against like Lee Petty back in the day. So
he stands around the DMV. He stands around the DMV waiting for people to take their test. And when they don't show up, he's like, "Can I take the test for them? Can I jump in the car and take the driver's test, please?"
Exactly. He's everywhere. So
he is.
That's hilarious.
Nick Fortune checking into the chat saying, "Rod, I love the flannel shirt. Are you trying to be the next brownie paper towel person?" Every time I come down in this thing, my wife always goes, "Oh, you're a lumberjack today, huh?" So it's like, whatever. I am an avid Ottawa Red Blacks fan. And so plaid is their staple color. I do. One Christmas, was it 3 Christmases ago? Everything I got was plaid. So I think up to and including this shirt and a blanket and everything because they knew that I loved the Red Blacks. And so, I mean, it was like everything's plaid.
You learn something new every day. I still don't really know what a red black is, but I guess it's just red and black flannel. So there you go.
That's all it is. That's all it is. Red Blacks. I mean, there's no rhyme or reason to it. It's just that's what it is. So.
All right, I got one bonus before we get into the actual picks. If you're in the Discord, you've already seen this. If you're listening here before tonight's qualifying session, props to you for getting in early. Qualifying odds are up. I'm going to attack this with 2 plays. Give me Chase Elliott, plus 750 to be the fastest qualifier, and give me Christopher Bell. He's at 1,500, both over on Caesars. Give me those 2 guys to be the fastest qualifier. We've talked about it before, but Hendrick has been like on every poll in the Daytona 500, like where this is the 66 running. I think they've had the poll for like 65 of them. Not really, but it's been a lot in a row. I think Danica won it in 2015, and Hendrick has had every other one, I think. And like multiple years, they've had double front rows. So they're always up there, and they've got, 4 of the top, well, Joey Logano's spliced in there, but 4 of the top 5 favorites now are them to get up there. Ty Gibbs, shout out to him. He's moved up he's only 9-1. A lot of questions with the new Ford body, a lot of new questions with the Toyota body. We don't really know what to expect. So I'm going to pick your poison with a Hendrick guy. I'm taking Chase Elliott. I think it's a good story. Maybe there's a fire lit under him after how last season went. Finish the season strong. This would be a good way to start it. And then Christopher Bell was the pole. I mean, he was Ryan Newman of winning poles at intermediates last year. So maybe he can put that into use. Maybe this new Toyota body does something. and sets them on the pole. So there's your bonus pole bets for you today. Get those in because that's tonight. Tonight we'll have cars on the track, single car qualifying. Pumped and excited for that.
I cannot wait. I cannot wait also to hear your picks, Cody. Let's get started with our Xfinity United Rentals 300 betting picks. Where are we going first?
Yeah, going to pick up where we left off last year. Riley Herbst was our guy. Talked about him earlier this week on the Daytona 500 show as well. He's going to be doing double duty this week. I said duty. Sorry, I can't help it. Right?
We are kids at heart.
Anyways, we are children at heart. So Riley Herbst going to be in the Xfinity race, of course, running full time there. Top 5 plus 275 over on DraftKings for Riley Herbst. He's been really, really solid at super speedways just in general. Last season, 6th place in this race. He had a 5th place at Atlanta as well. Go back to 2022, had a 4th place finish at Daytona, a 4th and a 7th place at Talladega. He was 10th and 9th in Daytona and Talladega last year in the Cup Series. You know, he made a couple of starts, had good finishes there. He was 4th in this race in 2020 as well. He's finished 7 of 9 races at Daytona, 3 of those inside the top 6 in the Xfinity Series. So Riley Herbst, a guy who won us a ton of money last year. I think he's going to continue to do so, and he's been a very solid super speedway guy. We've seen it in Xfinity. We've seen it in Cup now. I think he's going to continue to translate that. Again, I think we're going to see a really stepped up Riley Herbst even more so this season. I think that'll continue. So give me Riley Herbst plus 275 over on DraftKings for the top 5.
You get zero argument out of me over Riley Herbst. We've talked about it countless times over the offseason, just how high we are on his potential. And listen, how much fun it's going to be, I think, to watch him sort of step into the next. I mean, he's already into the next level, but I want to see him step into the next level. So definitely can't talk me off of a top 5 for him. Even if you wanted to try to car ladder that one up, even though I know we're not going to car ladder or car lift it rather yet.
Oh, we're not done talking about Riley Herbst.
No, we're not. We are not. So listen, I know that it's sexy, and I know that in the Cup Series, taking the super long shots is kind of the fun way to go and pays off a lot. But I'm sure Cody can attest as well. Listen, the Xfinity Series sometimes is not as dicey as the Cup Series. They do string themselves out. They do kind of get to where it's a tame race. I mean, granted, there is still chaos and there's still tons of stuff that could go wrong, and there's still, pack racing, but the Xfinity Series tends to stay sort of at the top part of it, right? And a lot of these guys that are riding around the top in the course of the season, they're riding around the top in the Daytona 500. There's not a lot of parity like there is. Now, anything can and will happen. That is the case. That is true. That still remains the same. But we tend to see it less as you look at the leaderboards. Some of the names kind of stick around. One of those names is Austin Hill. I got him as a top 3 car at plus 110. We know, again, I want to stress, it's sexy to come out and swing at these long odds, and we're going to do it because that's part of the fun. But sometimes you just have to appreciate and accept the fact that a guy like Austin Hill is going to be around the front of the pack. He's done several times over. He's been on the pole the last 2 times at Daytona in the Xfinity Series. He was there at the Daytona Spring Race in 2023. He was there again at the Fall Race of 2023. He's won 2 out of the last 4 races. Now, granted, the other ones that he hasn't won, he's been in the back. He's been in 23rd, 14th, and 35th. But, I mean, when we're talking, you either win or records or checkers or records, right? Records or checkers or kings or queens. I don't know, whatever it is. Austin Hill is the epitome of that. And the simple fact of the matter is he's going to be up front. He's a fast car. He led 36 laps in the fall, 39 in the spring. I'm just saying Austin Hill's going to be in the front. So you can bank on that. And I know the odds aren't super speedway type odds, but if you're going to bet a bet that's going to cash, I think this is it. So give me Austin Hill, top 3 car at plus 110 for this race.
Plus 110 is such a low number on a super speedway. Oh, I don't know. I don't know if I can fully back this one. I will say Austin Hill, seems to be head and shoulders above anyone else when it comes to being the best driver in Xfinity on the super speedways. And I will agree to your point earlier of, in the Xfinity Series, it does seem like that is the more chalky series, or the series where really the top guys kind of finish at the top more often. And that, like you said, there's still going to be big wrecks. We're still going to lose guys. Still going to be surprise guys that get top threes, top fives. That's why we're about to give those out in a few minutes. But it does seem to be the more calm of the three, and we have more of the top guys kind of staying up in the front and ending up there at the end of the day. So Austin Hill, I mean, he dominated. We destroyed the books a couple years ago, betting him every single super speedway, but they've caught on. His number is ridiculously low, plus 350 to win. I would never even probably consider that. Plus 110 is just such a low number, but he is very good, so I will give you that. I don't know if I could pull the trigger on it, but it's hard to argue against it. I mean, he really is the best Xfinity super speedway guy out there, and I think it's pretty tough to, which everyone else knows and doesn't want to work with him. That could be another issue, but yeah, he is the best. And I mean, like Will said when the first comment when we opened up the chat, can anybody stop him? So that just goes to show you, he is really good.
Yeah, the people that can stop him are the ones that don't go with him, and that's really why and spoiler alert, he's not on my winning list, and that's because I couldn't pull the trigger at plus 350, just like Cody said, and I also can't pull the trigger when I know nobody's going to work with him. So all it takes is for him to be up front at the very end of this, and then somebody just to duck out, right? I mean, that'll still cash my top three if he manages to cross third, but if somebody decides they want to step out of line and kind of leave him in the dust.
And yes, we did see some people blatantly trying not to work with him because they don't, but if you go back through the history of drafting tracks, I mean, Dale Earnhardt was the best and everybody wanted to work with him. Everybody wants to work with Denny Hamlin now because he is the best. And Dale Earnhardt Jr., they wanted to work with him. And so Will says Sheldon Creed wants to stop him. Well, that is very possible. But he'll have a new teammate this year, and Jesse Love, and Jesse will help him if he's up there. People are still going to want to work with him. They're still going to help him. It just, his numbers are so bad that I'm not going to be in on any of them.
Yeah, I'm not. Well, other than the 110, I won't touch him for anything else other than that. So, all right, we've got more picks for you, but win bigger by betting smarter this NBA season with Hall of Fame Bets, the sports betting analytics platform for parlays, player props, and game lines. Research every NBA and soccer bet with historical stats and data. Enter any parlay idea into Hall of Fame Bet's revolutionary parlay optimizer tool to get hit rates broken down by leg as well as an expected probability for the entire parlay. Sort all players by hit rate for any bet to learn which players are hot and which picks have value. Stop betting in the dark. Join over 30,000 users researching with Hall of Fame Bets to craft more intelligent, data-driven parlays. Download the Hall of Fame Bets app or visit hofbets.com and use code SGPN to get 50% off of your first month today. Start researching, start winning with Hall of Fame Bets. Got a question real quick, and I know that it is, of course, the Xfinity episode, and so does Nick, but he wants to know about Kyle Larson versus Joey Logano. I think we got to answer this now before anything changes for him. Should he place the wager for Logano to place higher than Larson at minus 125? Cody, what's the rule on super speedways?
Well, there's multiple rules that come into place here. The first one, of course, is to fade Kyle Larson. But minus 125 is the problem, though. Head-to-heads, again, we try to stay away from them in the most part. I mean, really, the only head-to-heads I bet on is against Larson or against Truex because they both suck. But minus 125 is a lot to lay, but Joey should beat him. So it depends on your risk level, how much risk you want to take, because there is some risk to it. Of course, Joey can get caught up in the wreck and whatnot, but he should be better than Larson at the end of the day. You would think and hope. I don't know. I'm not racing to the books to bet a minus 125 matchup. That's a lot. In other places, sure. A couple weeks in Vegas, if you've got a guy that you really like over somebody else, minus 125, perfectly fine. On a super speedway, it's probably just a little too much for me, so I'll probably stay away from that one.
Yeah, and spoiler alert, I don't think any of us have head-to-heads on our cards, so not for this super speedway.
Yeah. I mean, again, we're coming into Xfinity here. No head-to-heads for either of us. It's likely that we won't have head-to-heads in the Truck Series either, and we only had one in the Cup Series, and that was, of course, fading Larson, but you were getting Bowman at plus 110, and so that made it more appealing. So Nick says if he loses, he's going to blame me, which wouldn't be the first time, so that's okay. I can handle it.
All right, Cody, let's continue on with our card. What do you got next?
Next up for me, this is one of my favorite ones on the board. I'm going to take Jordan Anderson, top Chevrolet, plus it's 40-1. 40-1 over on Caesars to be the top finishing Chevrolet. Now, this could be, I want to find out what is his top 5 number, because I think I might want to add his top 5 officially to this, because
you want to car lift this thing up, don't you?
I might want to. I do have a car lift later where we're going to ride someone a long ways up the car lift. But let's add Jordan Anderson plus 650.
Yeah, plus 650.
Yeah, never mind. That's why I kept it at top Chevrolet, I guess. So I will say, I mean, Chevrolet, holy shit, this is a long list. Like, most of the cars in this race are Chevrolets. So you do have that going against you. But at 40-1, I think it's the right number for Jordan Anderson. Jordan Anderson, extremely good on the super speedways. Now, again, if we don't have qualifying, he won't make it in probably because of the point situation, whatever. But got Larry Mack on the box. We know how good Larry Mack is. He's going to have that car tuned up, ready to go. Anderson has 2 starts in Xfinity at Daytona, 15th and a 22nd. He was running at the end of both of them, so not overly impressive, but running at the end in the mix. 1 start in Xfinity at Talladega and a 5th place there. 5th place can easily be enough to get you top Chevrolet in a race like this. His last 2 truck races at Daytona, 2nd place and 2nd place. Also has a nice 9th place finish in the trucks at Daytona. He's got 2 top 7 finishes at Talladega. Jordan Anderson is a very, very good super speedway racer. If he gets in this race, he's going to be in the mix. He's going to give you a shot. Again, this is a very large group of Chevrolets, but you could take him top 5 at plus 6, whatever, and then if a Chevy beats him, okay, you catch the top 5, and that's fine. I don't hate that. The number's not quite big enough for me to want to add it, but at 40-1, again, if a bunch of Chevys get caught up in this, you got 2 Fords, 2 or 3 Fords, first, second, a third. Then it's a couple Toyotas. He finishes 6th, 7th. We've seen it in the Cup Series where the top finishing Chevy in the Daytona 500 has been 9th or 12th, or they don't have to necessarily be up top, up front. And it is a big group, so there's a lot of them. But, if he comes in and maybe he comes in second and he ends up being the top Chevy, or maybe he wins it and cashes top Chevy for you. But all he has to do is beat the other Chevrolets. So Jordan Anderson, top Chevrolet, 40-1 over on Caesars.
Well, you better hope that Jordan Anderson comes in second, because I got my guy. Stop me if you've heard this one already. I promise. All right, for those of you who are new to the show, you will discover quickly that I am a simp for Junior Motorsports. And I didn't want to be. It wasn't as if I came out and said, it developed. It was something that developed. My love for Junior Motorsports developed over the course of the last couple of seasons, to which I cannot have a card without at least one of them, if not sometimes all of them, on it. So I begin my season by backing Justin Allgaier as a top 3 car at 3-1. And here's the thing about this, right? We just talked about Austin Hill at plus 110 for a top 3 being sort of an unattractive number. 3-1 is a little more what you're asking for, but also 3-1 is the second top 3 odd on the board, which is crazy because you see the difference between Austin Hill at plus 110 and Justin Allgaier at 3-1. That just seems the books have said, okay, it's going to happen, but we still think there's a little bit more wiggle room for Justin Allgaier, which is true. But allow me to read you his finishes over the last few seasons at the Daytona International Speedway, shall I? In the spring race of 2021, not a good finish. He finished 28th. He crashed out of that one, but he did start second, which means he had speed. In the fall of 2021, he started 4th, finished 3rd. In the spring of 2022, he started 17th, finished 5th. In the fall of 2022, started 15th, finished 13th. And then last year in the spring, finished 3rd. And then he won this race in the fall. If you are counting, that is 3 of 5 finishes inside the top 3 on this track over the last few seasons. Look, it's Justin Allgaier. It's Junior Motorsports. There's really no other arguments that I have to make to myself for this bet. But for you, I will tell you that, like I said before, to open up the show, there's a lot of these chalky names that I would love to sit here and tell you to go for 100-1 or 250-1 in this instance. But I want to be a little more responsible with you this week, right? Because if you're new to the show, we're going to swing for the fences a lot on these super speedways, but they're calculated risks. And obviously we want you to win money. That's what we want you to do over the course of the season. So you have to sprinkle in some of these chalky plays because you have to be able to be you have to be profitable, right? And these guys, these names, these Austin Hills, these Allgaiers, right? When we were doing it last season, the Gibbs, the Nemecheks, they made you money, right? And that's ultimately what you're trying to do. So, I mean, it may not be popular, it may not be sexy, it may just be chalky, but sometimes, I hate the saying, but sometimes you got to eat the chalk. And I think this is one instance where eating the chalk is going to do you good. So Allgaier top 3 at plus 300, plus go JR Motorsports.
I did not get Rod's eat the chalk memo, and I don't have very many chalky plays, if any.
That's so, why we balance.
That is how I do have a JR Motorsports play in a little bit, and they were, if you remember, in this race last year, second, third, fourth, and fifth with a couple laps to go before they all wrecked each other. I mean, they got close to doing good, and they were all working well together. Now it's some of the team has changed and some new drivers, but do they have just one new driver?
Yeah, just the one.
Joe, they got two. Sammy Smith is over there too.
Oh yeah. That's right.
So yeah, they do have two new drivers, but still, same. You got Allgaier and Jones still in their spots, and the other guys are fine on super speedways too. So, man, plus 300. It's just not big enough for me. But I know your love and affinity for JR Motorsports. So, and Allgaier, he's a good driver, so can't beat that.
All right, let's continue on.
Rod, I did want to mention too. I got some pretty sweet. The lighting is not great, but this is yellow, like our logo. There, you can see it. Beautiful little stickers. They're pretty cool. Leave us an Apple review and shoot me. If you've left one before too, I don't know if you know this, but you can go in if it's been a while. Just delete what you wrote and write a new one, and it'll bump it up to the top. It helps the algorithms, all that. Leave us a review on Apple. Take a screenshot of your review that you leave. DM it to me. DM it to the NASCAR Gambling Twitter, whatever. And I'll send you a sticker. I got a whole pile of them. So sending people stickers. All you got to do is leave a review. So hit us up with a review. We appreciate it. Helps us out. You get a cool sticker. No cost to you. So just wanted to toss that out there.
So beautiful. God, that's so good.
I know. It turned out good too. So I was really happy with how it worked. So pretty awesome. I was trying to see. I don't know. I got to find somewhere to put it in here where you'll be able to see it on the screen. I don't know if you'll be able to or not.
Right down the forehead.
Right here. I need to raise my microphone up and put a sticker. Actually.
Oh, there you go.
I might be able to put it right there. All right. We'll play with that later. Perfect. Anyways. Let me fix my microphone now. Okay. This one's going out on a limb just a little bit. I'm going to toss that out there. We're going out of Dos Flacos. 3 out of 5 stars wouldn't change a thing. Thank you. Appreciate your review. You'll see the sticker you get if you leave a 3-star review.
It may or may not
look more like a poop emoji.
Beauty emoji. Oh, there you go. I love it.
Anyways, okay. So this next one, this is basically a prep for chaos type of play. I'm going to go over to David Starr. That's right. Placing a bet on David Starr. So go ahead and just note that for the record. Talk about guys that have been around for a long time. But I'm going to take David Starr in a couple of different ways here. I'm going to take him for a top 5 because his number is 25-1, and that is just, it's so high. It's a long shot. It's a long shot for a reason. But David Starr, 25-1 for a top 5. Also going to take him top 4 at 22-1. Possibility to double dip on this. Also, I mentioned earlier, 9/10 of this field is Chevrolets. There's only 2, 4, 6, 8. There's only 9 Fords entered into this race. Actually, David Starr's numbers dropped to 18-1, of course. So I will edit that. But still 18-1, I would still take. So basically, you're telling me I'm getting a group of 8, and one of the guys is 18-1, and David Starr, not the greatest guy in the history of NASCAR, right? We get it. But he's not been horrible either. Ran his first race in Daytona in 2001. So, again, a lot of experience. He's finished 5th here before. He's finished 6th here before. He's got a 9th place at Talladega. I don't really have any more than that, right? It's very hit and miss with him, and this is just a prep for chaos. Maybe he's the guy that survives it to the end. But I think that the number is solid enough. You're getting a long shot with a guy that's been around a long time. He might be a laps down at points in this race, get his laps back at the end because there's chaos. The only way you're cashing this bet basically is a lot of chaos. So this is my prep for chaos pick. But I'm feeling some David Starr this week. He owes me a little bit of money. He just completely fucked up Noah Gragson one year think they were at Homestead. Gragson was killing everyone. I was about to cash some very big bets, and Star just completely got in the way, and Gragson hit a lap down, multiple laps down. Star blew up his car, destroyed it, cost me a lot of money. So David Starr is going to repay that favor this week. Top 5, 25-1 on Caesars. Top 4, it's down to 18-1. Other people obviously feeling the same way, but especially the 4-1. I mean, it's a small group, right? We have 1 wreck and 6 Fords get caught up. Now there's only 2 or 3. Maybe all the Fords might not even make this race, right? We got 6 people going home. Then you've only got to beat 1 or 2 other guys. I mean, he could be 20 laps down and still cash this bet for you, which is he could be in a wreck and out of the race and still cash it for you if all the Fords get swept up. So I think it's worth taking a look at. And give me some David Starr. Also, so I put in the doc here, a little behind the scenes for you. I put Muniz top Ford ? So Frankie Muniz is listed on the entry sheet as a Chevrolet, which I think is why Caesars has him in the Chevrolet category. But he said he's going to be in a Ford. Bob Pockers has said he's going to be in a Ford. So I don't know. I don't exactly know why he's listed as a Chevrolet. But he is 175-1 to be the top Chevrolet. Now, I like that bet and actually kind of want to place that bet, but he's not going to be in a Chevrolet, so I don't think you're going to cash that. If they move this over to Ford and he's like 18-1 is the highest right now, so I don't know. I just wanted to mention it. If he's higher than 25-1, probably 50-1. If he's any higher than that, I would take him just because, not a lot of experience on Daytona, but he finished 11th in the ARCA race last season. He was kind of impressive at the end of that race. And you could say you want to bet on Malcolm in the middle. At 175-1, if you're getting odds anything like that over on the Ford side of things, I would consider it. So not an official play because it's a little confusing. I was trying to figure all that out, and I don't understand why he's listed as a Chevrolet, but he will be in a Ford. So, just something to keep an eye on and think about later on in the week if you notice it's changed.
It'll be fun to watch him race in the Xfinity Series. I mean, obviously, we kept an eye on him in ARCA last year, and he did well there. Obviously, good enough to get a ride in the Xfinity race or the Xfinity Series. So, yeah, it'd be a lot of fun. I mean, what a great story too. I mean, an actor who decided he wanted to race and was good enough, right? I mean, we see a lot of times these guys, they want to make the switch to something else, and just because they have the money to do it, they start to do it, but they're really not that good, and they kind of get pushed along because it's like, oh, look at you with the money and the name. We'll cut you. He actually had the talent to do it.
Are you making fun of Joe Graff right now? Jeez, calm down.
Hey, listen, if I say a name, I'll say a name. All right. All right. Let's prep for chaos as well. And again, like I said, the chalk will probably rise to the top in this instance and in this race especially, but you do have to prep for chaos, and you do have instances where half of the field gets taken out or it rains, and then the back half of the field who with those folks that stack the back or parlay top 10s and have all of them hit for $1 million, those are the guys that win. Well, in this instance, I'm going to take Haley Deegan in her first Xfinity Daytona race as a top 5 car at 9-1. Look, the stats are not there to back it up. She doesn't have any Xfinity experience, but the truck experience has not been all that great either, and not necessarily the greatest of finishes and all that other good stuff. But just like Cody said, she's in a Ford. There's not a lot of Fords in this. So if they all stick together and if they all manage to find some dance partners and maybe Toyota links up with them for a little bit and goes against the Chevys, then we're good to go there. But look, for me, this is prepping for chaos. This is Haley Deegan's crew taking a swing. She's in that 15 car, right? Hasn't been on the track in a couple of seasons. It's not historically a good car. It doesn't have very good finishes over the last Colby Howard, Bailey Curry.
Though, honestly, this is the car that Brett Moffitt was driving last. So they renumbered it from the 25, and that was actually, I think it was 25 or 30. I think it was 25, but it was actually decent with Brett Moffitt. So I will point that out.
Well, there you go. See, and that just should give you a little bit more of incentive to take a chance on it. So, again, Haley Deegan, she can do it. She just needs to show it and needs to prove it. Again, she's not in the most elite equipment, but she's a very capable driver. And in pack racing, anything can and will happen. And so at 9-1, I feel like it's a pretty good. This is where I start to get to the comfortable range of swinging for the fences. So give me Haley Deegan, a little rookie Xfinity driver, to take a top 5 car into the garage, plus 900.
Yeah, I like it, and she's been good at the super speedways. She has one Xfinity start that she made last year at Las Vegas, so just a normal track, and she finished 13th. So she's really not even that far outside of the top 5, just on a regular track, making that start. This car has been pretty decent with Moffitt behind the wheel. She's got the funding she's bringing to the team as well, so I think that helps. So yeah, I like it. It's going to be somebody you're rooting for. Again, if there's people you want to root for, and she's one of them for me, at least, find a way to bet on them, because anything can happen. It's a super speedway, and that's just how it goes.
Indeed.
All right, Rod, next up for me, I am going to go over to Sage Karam. He's going to be in a Toyota. When I first wrote this in the document, this number was 12-1 to be the top finishing Toyota. It's now 6-1. Other smart people out there have hammered it in half, but that's okay. I will still take it at 6-1 because, listen, Rod, there is 5 Toyotas entered in this race. 5 Toyotas. Now, granted, the other 4 are all JGR Toyotas. So on a normal track, yeah, you're not going to take this. But if you're, again, this is just a large group. I mean, this is a group. A lot of the groups that are offered are 5 drivers. You're getting one guy in the group at 6-1. Really, that's the end of the argument. I mean, this is just hoping that you're taking the value, because the value's there in finding someone at 6-1 in a group setting where he's only got to beat 4 other cars. Those 4 cars can get swept up in a wreck. It's a super speedway. They can be fine as well. He does have one start in the Xfinity Series at Daytona, and Roddy finished in 5th place. So already we've seen, though, in the one start he's got, he can get a top 5. When there's only 4 of the Toyotas out there, that could easily beat them and not be much of an issue. He hasn't started at Talladega. He's got three bad finishes at Atlanta on the new configuration, but 2 of those were mechanical issues in the Alpha Prime car, so you can't really blame that on him. This is a Sam Hunt car, and the Sam Hunt cars aren't super great, but they're not bad by any means. And we've seen some guys like John Hunter do really well in them. It's going to be fine, especially on a super speedway. So again, just taking this as a group setting and getting a guy at farther odds than anyone else. Truex is in here plus 320, but then you're jumping all the way to Karam. I really, really liked it at 12-1, so I hope you got in on that. But I still like it at 6-1 because I think that, again, you're just playing the number of he's only got to beat 4 other cars for this. And again, 38 drivers make this race. You could finish 33rd and cash this bet for you, if things work out right. So Sage Karam, top Toyota, plus 600 on Caesars.
All right, well, I'll see your top Toyota, and I'll raise you a Ryan Truex. You just talked about him just real quick as a top Toyota. Again, if you're really wanting to do this, you could treat it like a first touchdown bet in football and sprinkle some units. And that's how you got to do super speedway racing anyways. Don't go heavy on this. We've always told you, don't go heavy on super speedway racing because you could lose it all. Go in expecting to lose it all. So on these top manufacturers, pick one that you like. Obviously, I think Toyota and Ford are probably the 2 that you really want to kind of, if you're gonna go heavy on it. Heavier, I should say. Don't go heavy, go heavier, because there's fewer. But a guy like Ryan Truex at plus 320 to be the top Toyota. I will tell you that the last time that he did take this track as a Toyota driver, he was the top Toyota in 2021. So, or was it 2022? 2021. Anyways, he was the top Toyota in that race in 2022, in the spring or race at Daytona 2022. So, and he started 38th in that race, and he managed to find his way all the way up to 12th, which was, like Cody said, you don't have to be a top 5 car. You don't have to be a top 10 car. You could be a 12th place car and be the first Toyota. Well, I take that back. Ty Gibbs was the first Toyota in that one, but Ty Gibbs is no longer a thing. So Ryan Truex
He's still a thing, Rod. Jeez.
Not in this race. He's not a thing.
Okay.
But my brain got ahead of my mouth. If you've listened to this show at all, you know exactly that's how that works. Ryan Truex was the top Toyota minus Ty Gibbs, and Ty Gibbs is not a factor in this race. So he very much has an opportunity to be that again. And listen, it's Ryan Truex. Right? We've documented how good he's been in that 19 car, and that 19 car is a Gibbs car, and those are the fastest on the track when it comes to a lot of these different races, super speedways included. So, Yeah, I mean, again, take that with a grain of salt, but I still think Truex has a good shot at being the top Toyota at plus 320.
Yeah, and again, you can play both these guys. They're the two longest shots in the group. You put them together, it brings your numbers down a little, but you only have to be 3 other guys at this point. So it's really not a bad way to attack betting on the top Toyota. Rod, we're going to break out the car lift next. My guy, the auto bet for Xfinity Series. He's the Corey of Xfinity. Ryan Sieg, another guy who has won me so much money in the past. Love betting Ryan Sieg in the Xfinity Series on super speedways. He's just outstanding. He's really, really good at them. So going to take his top 5 over at Caesars plus 750. Going to take his top 3 at plus 1,700 over on Caesars. Really love that. Also going to take him to win 75-1. What is his top Ford? Oh, wait, that's not top Ford. That's top Ford. He's only plus 320. That's why I didn't leave. Okay. See, why do I second guess myself, Rob?
I love
obviously, I looked at this and decided previously not to add it for a reason, and that's the reason. The number's not
future
good.
Cody or past Cody not doing future Cody anything whatsoever. Like
I wrote all this down for a reason. There's a reason I didn't include that in there, so that's the reason. Anyways, all right. Ryan Sieg taking the car lift, top 5 750, top 3 1,700 to win the race. 75-1. Just the disrespect they're putting on Ryan Sieg's name. Rod, the last 4 races at Daytona, 6th, 8th, 26th in there, and another 8th place finish. 3 8th place finishes in the last 4 races here. Had a 4th place finish at Daytona in 2019, a 3rd place in both 2016 and 2014. Guy that's been around for a long time, been doing this for a while, been good at it. 8 of the 20 races at Talladega, or at Daytona rather, got top 10 finishes. 5 top 10 finishes at Talladega in 13 starts, and all but 1 race at the new Atlanta. He's been inside the top 15 in the new configuration over there. So he's a guy that just continues to get it done. Gosh, he's come so close. I've had him a couple times where he's got 2nd place at Talladega, or he's been in the pack when Voldemort takes him out late. That was one of the plays we lost there. But Ryan Sieg just continues to get it done on super speedways. He's very good. He's very smart. He knows how to take care of the equipment. Of course, we know it's a family-owned team. He's out there to try not to wreck it. But you'll see his name throughout the day. He's going to be a player. He's going to be in the mix. He'll have a chance to be there at the end. It's going to be the year that Ryan Sieg gets it done. So, Ryan Sieg car lift, top 3, top 5, win the race, load it up.
Yeah, it's when you look back at the finishes of these past races and you look at names that'll shock you when they're up toward the front. Ryan Sieg is definitely one of those because, on a week-to-week basis, you don't factor him into the mix, and yet there he is, especially in Daytona, in the mix. So I love it. Again, in my research too, he popping up as one of the Toyotas that was in the top Toyota last year. So again, he's in the mix just about each and every super speedway. Okay. It would not be me if I did not give you a winning car number. The under 18.5 is where I'm going to lean on this one. Minus 120. I know we always say that it's tough to take minus 120. 1 in NASCAR, 2 on a super speedway. But when you listen to the cars that are under 18.5, you will say to me, this is probably not a bad bet to take. There is Cole Custer, Sam Mayer, Jesse Love. You've got Justin Allgaier, Sammy Smith, Brandon Jones, Daniel Suarez, AJ Allmendinger, Sheldon Creed. Whew, that is a stacked, and that's leaving out guys like Daniel Dye, who's going to give us some great shots. Haley Deegan, all those folks as well are underneath 18.5. And I'll tell you right now that if you want to go over 18.5, I don't blame you on that one. That gives you the Truexes, the Nemecheks, the Hill. But in between there, it's like those are the 3 powerhouses. And then after that, it kind of like until you get to maybe Riley Herbst at 98. So if you're going to, again, anybody can win these races. But when I named off all of those names above 18.5, that was way more than the names that I listed that were above 18.5, right? So if you're going to do that, and if you feel like one of those guys is going to win the race, you might as well take that one as an outright because you're going to get way better odds to take that as an outright. And then blanket yourself with this under 18.5 to catch everybody else that's underneath that. And spoiler alert, both of my winners and a couple of Cody's winners are all underneath that number. Therefore, we both think that this is going to be under 18.5. Like I said, there's too many powerhouses. Junior Motorsports pretty much all resides in that 1 to 18 range.
Not pretty much, Rod. They do.
Okay, it does. It does.
The 88's not entered in this one.
Oh, poor Dale. But yeah, all of Junior Motorsports is in there, right? And you got some college cars in there as well, who we talked about are good on super speedways, and Haas. I'm just saying there's too many good names under that number for one of those not to hit. So give me the winning car number under 18.5 at -120.
And again, just like we talked about in the Cup Series, if you're on a couple of guys to win the race that are over the number, if you want, Riley Herbst is in your winner bets. Well, if he wins, who gives a fuck about the number bet? Because you cashed on Riley Herbst winning, which is going to be pay better anyways. So it gives you a chance to kind of hedge off yourself if you're more so on one side or the other. And again, like we talked about earlier, Xfinity Series of all of them is the one that is more chalky and more, loaded towards the actual front runners. And a lot of those guys are under the number, under, what is it? Yeah, the 18.5. So I don't think it's definitely not a bad thing. I don't question you when it comes to number bets because you are the professional number better. And
Andy agrees with me. Andy Tallman, love that strategy. The under plus a few outrights. Hey, Andy, that's what we've been preaching for years. Years. Like we're that old. A couple.
It has been years at this point. I mean, it is. It's a solid strategy because you're protecting yourself. And again, like you broke it down, there's only a handful of guys over that number. So you pick the ones you're going to bet on anyways. And then, there's a good chance you're covering yourself one way or the other. So I think that it's a solid strategy.
Indeed. All right. Well, then all that's left now, Cody, is to pick the winners for the United Rentals 300. Cody, I will sit back and give you the floor for the next hour while you list off all your winners.
Yes, that's how it works. Look, super speedways, you got to load up on the winners. That's the name of the game. That's how you hit these. You take the football first touchdown bet, split it into 4 units, however you want to do it. So I do have 4 guys to win all throughout the odds boards here. Going to start with AJ Allmendinger. He's 12-1 over on Caesars. Numbers dropped on a couple of books, so kind of maybe get in on that earlier. Look, Rod, his last 4 Daytona starts in Xfinity, 4 top 5 finishes, a 3rd, 2 second places, and a 5th. He's really good here. Last year, he won at Talladega in Xfinity. He was 3rd place in his other start. Atlanta, a 10th and a 3rd place finish there. And then the last 2 Daytona 500s he's running, 6th and 3rd place. AJ Allmendinger, the road course king, right? That's what we think of him. That's what we know of him. He's really good at super speedways. Colleague is good at super speedways. He's going to have Suarez in the camp. Daniel Dye will probably be in the middle of a wreck somewhere. Josh Williams is going to be out there. The SVG, if you think he's not going to be any good on this, so don't worry about that. But the colleague cars are good. Chevrolet, right? Big group. AJ Allmendinger is good. So 12-1 for AJ Allmendinger. And then Riley Herbst. We're going to hit Riley Herbst, of course. I talked about him earlier. It's not going to read all the stats off again. 25-1 over on Superbook. Get in on Riley Herbst. We love Riley. I picked him to win the Cup race as well, the Daytona 500. If you find a book that you parlay winners, while Rod's talking, we're going to see. We're going to see if that's a possibility. Caesars might let you do that. If so, we're going to give that out because I think Riley Herbst could easily win both these races. Really, really good on the super speedways. Going to have a strong car. Brandon Jones, 30-1. He's another guy that I always come back to when it comes to the super speedways. This is my Junior Motorsports play of the week for you, Rod. Had to get in on him. Love me some Brandon Jones. The big fast tracks, that's where Brandon Jones excels. That's where he's good at. The results are up and down. He's kind of one of those. He's almost a Ricky Stenhouse Jr., right? He's either going to bring you back the trophy or he's going to bring you back the steering wheel. It's one or the other. He's a little harder to bet the top 5 numbers and stuff. That's kind of why I didn't bring him up earlier in that market because it is hit and miss. But he has finished 3rd here before. He has finished 4th here before. He has 7 top 15s in 16 starts. Talladega, he's finished 2nd twice, real close to getting the wins there. He's got 4 top 10 finishes and 11 starts at Talladega, 2 top 10s in the new Atlanta on the new configuration. So Brandon Jones is a guy who's been close on the super speedways, hasn't quite gotten there yet. But he's been in the mix at the end. Like we talked about last year at the end of this race at Daytona, Junior Motorsports, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and 5th. They were all running together. They all wrecked each other, and I don't think any of them finished the race, but they were there near the end of the thing. I think he could be again. And then Jordan Anderson, 60-1. I talked about him earlier as well. And potentially getting that top Chevrolet. look, he doesn't run a lot of races and he picks and chooses. He's more of a car owner now than anything. Picks and chooses his spots. Larry Mack is a crew chief. I forgot to mention as well that is his father-in-law. So great family story, right? He owns the family team, wins with the father-in-law on the box, whatever the case is there. I think that would be a good story. I think Jordan Anderson, more than capable of doing it. He always shows up on these super speedways. He's always good. So give me Jordan Anderson 60-1 over on Caesars.
What am I going to do without Larry Mack breaking down a car for me on the broadcast? I know he doesn't necessarily do it for the Xfinity broadcasts, but at the same time,
you'll probably still get your Larry Mack cutaway car on the Daytona 500 broadcast.
I've learned more from Larry Mack's cutaway car than I have by reading any textbook.
Dude is just he's amazing.
Yeah. Anything I know, I accredit to Larry Mack cutting away all those cars all these years long. All right. Well, surprise, surprise. One of my outrights is Justin Allgaier at 11-1. I talked about him earlier. Not going to bore you with any more of the statistics for Justin Allgaier, but just to say that 11-1 for a guy as good as Justin Allgaier, that should tell you where the books feel like it. Obviously, we talked about Austin Hill being the runaway favorite at plus 375 is where I found him, I think, to win the race. But I mean, the gap between Allgaier and Austin Hill and Allgaier, it's the weird. I mean, it's insane. They're giving Austin Hill the runaway success on this one and saying, okay, well, an Allgaier can do it too. But I think if I'm going to bet on any junior motorsports car to win this one, it's going to be Allgaier 11-1. The only thing that would stop him from doing this is one, the madness. Well, I say the only thing, but the only things is one, the madness of super speedways, and two, if any of his old teammates decide they want to figure out that and forget that he's not his teammate anymore and wreck him. So I think that's one way that'll stop it. So like I said, Allgaier at 11-1, take him to win this race. Somebody we haven't talked about. We've said his name once in this entire thing is Cole Custer. Maybe it's because he burned us last year because he was supposed to come in and win all of the 20 some odd races on the season, but he didn't. And maybe it's because you want to talk about a guy that is either coming home with the shield or on these super speedways. He definitely is one of those guys. But maybe we were a season too early on Cole Custer. Maybe he needed
to win 10 races this year.
He's going to win 10. No, he's not. I'm not even going to go that far. But maybe he at least wins this one at the very least. And Cole Custer to win this race is at 12-1. Again, not a super sexy number, but at the same time, for a guy who has yet to win a race on this super speedway, right, in the 00 car, I think he's due. I don't know. The last couple races of last year, he finished 9th and 5th, which shows an upward trajectory. Whereas before that, it was like 37th, 22nd, 14, 25th, 14, 26th, and then, two top 10s. One of them is a top 5. I don't know what finally clicked in him, but we'll give him that. And then at Talladega, you again, talk about coming home with your shielder on it. 26th, 9th, 32nd, 4th. Like, what are we even doing here? And then, of course, the new Atlanta configuration, he did finish 12th and 3rd in both of those instances. So, again, not necessarily the most encouraging of numbers when it comes to an outright winner, but he's around the front, and he does play nicely with the others. And just like we said, we may be a year early on him winning 600 races, but by the same token, I'd like to think that he could win this one. Dos Flacco's right with us. 100% Rod Custer time this Saturday night. Hey, it can happen. And again, he's a solid driver with the opportunity to win any single race. You could probably pencil Cole Custer in to win any single race, and you'll cash 10 times out of that. No, I'm just kidding. A few times there, but yeah, I think he opens up the season with a good start and a win at 12-1.
Defend that crown. Get started off on the right foot. Rod, did a little research while you were talking. I'm not sitting in a legal betting state, so but it does look like Caesars will allow you to parlay this. Ryan Herbst to win the Xfinity Series race on Saturday and to win the Daytona 500. Rod, if you parlay those, the payout #DGens only is plus 197,700. So if you put $10 on it, it will pay out $19,780. So there is your Riley Herbst Christmas lottery ticket.
I'm about to say, let's run to the books now and snag that before it changes. That's amazing.
Honey, we're taking a Valentine's Day ride over to Iowa.
Dun, dun. Hey, baby, there's this hot restaurant in Iowa. I want to.
I know I say all those horrible things about Iowa and how their corn sucks, but we got to go to Iowa tonight.
It's called Hard Rock. It's a great place. It's a great restaurant, babe. Look, it's got good ambiance. Buddy, why are you on your phone, babe? Never mind. Never mind that.
I'm working over here.
Happy Valentine's Day. All right. Let's recap the bets, shall we? Go ahead and get out your pen and paper. We're going to go over our picks for this United Rentals 300. Cody started you out with Riley Herbst as a top 5 car at plus 275. I tossed in Austin Hill as a top 3 car at plus 110. Cody gave you Jordan Anderson as a top Chevy at 40-1. I said Justin Allgaier would be a top 3 car at 3-1. Cody said David Starr would be a top 5 car at 25-1 on Caesars, and the top Ford at 18-1. Keep an eye on that Freddie Munoz top Ford pick. Let's see where those odds are at and take it kind of wherever, because it'll probably be up there in the range. So I took Haley Deegan as a top 5 car at 9-1. Cody got Sage Karam going as a top Toyota at 6-1. I said Truex would be a top Toyota at plus 320. Cody said Ryan Sieg ride that car lift up to the top 5 plus 750, top 3 at 17-1, and to win at 75-1. I said go with the winning car number under 18.5 at minus 120. Cody gave you AJ Allmendinger, my boy, to win at 12-1. Riley Herbst at 25-1 to win. Brandon Jones at 30-1 to win. Jordan Anderson at 60-1 to win. And if you want to take the hashtag DGens only play, Riley Herbst to win the Xfinity race and the Cup race at plus 197,700. Again, that $10 will pay you $19,780. I said Justin Allgaier to win at 11-1, and Cole Custer would win at 12-1. Cody, very shortly, we will be able to watch qualifying on the track. If you're listening to this later on, you probably already have. If you're listening to this on Thursday, you certainly have. And we're getting ready for the duels. So lots of great stuff happening. It's all happening, but it's all happening. It's happening now.
Is this just not so beautiful?
It is.
It's so great. I love it. Qualifying tonight, I think it's 7:15 Central Time. Sounds right, roughly. I don't know. Check your local listings. You'll figure it out. But
just don't turn off the TV.
Enjoy. Get those bets in. I gave those out. If you weren't on earlier, Bell, Elliott, those are my qualifying poll winner bets. So log those in. I know Caesars has it. I think we're gonna start looking at Hard Rock more often too, because they've been hitting it big with the numbers for NASCAR this year. So I like it.
Indeed. All right, Cody. Well, as we wrap it up and send everybody on their way to enjoy the actions on the track, why don't you let everybody know where they can find you on social media?
Yes, a couple things real quick. Make sure you get in the Daytona 500 contest, sportsgamblingpodcast.com/Daytona. You can enter over there. All you got to do is be subscribed to the YouTube channel, enter your Daytona 500 pick. Boom. It's that easy. And then fantasy leagues, we've got a league for the podcast, completely free. Hit us up if you want in that. We'll give you the link. And then I've got some stuff on my page, on my Twitter page, @Husker_Zeeb. You can follow me there. Find all my work. Find out about those leagues. NASCAR Gambling Podcast stickers. You want one? Leave an Apple review. Send me a screenshot and your address, and I'll get in the mail to you.
Yes, sir. And we'll check with the postman too to make sure he delivers that right to your hands. That's the way we work around here.
Hand delivered. You got to sign for it.
Yeah, you got to sign. It's valued equipment. You got to can't mess around with that stuff. Follow me on X at RJ Villagomez. Link at the bottom. Everything I got going on, whether it's here, Sportsbook Review. I'll have a Daytona 500 article coming out for that.
Ooh.
And then, of course,
I know,
too. Right? They hit me up today. I was like, let's go.
Weird. I got hit up today for a 500 article as well. So watch for that from me.
And then, see, I'm telling you right now, we just got to love that. And then, of course, in between media, the back road kicking off on Friday with our official Daytona 500 episode as well. All right, guys. We'll be back tomorrow with some truck odds and some truck picks. So hang tight. Happy Valentine's Day, everybody. Hey, let us know what you think of the new setup and the new pictures and the new background. All that.
Rod killed it. Looks great.
Thank you so much. Let us know in the comments what you think of the new setup and the new digs on the screen if you're watching on YouTube. So, and if not, get over to the YouTube. All right, I'm done. We'll see you guys tomorrow. Until then, let's go racing and let it ride.